Chill us with EKSE, Monday to Friday, we keep on learning every day. We keep it real Monday to Thursdays, entertainment Fridays. Just so you know, it's 5 p.m. we're going live now. Just so you know, till 6, don't touch that dial, go. Just so you know, it's 5 p.m. we're going live now. Just so you know, till 6, don't touch that dial, go. Youth Block of the Year, catch us everywhere. Hashtag line EKSE, kuzofiwa this year. Youth Block of the Year, catch us everywhere. Hashtag line EKSE, kuzofiwa.
Good evening and welcome by another episode of an EKSE Lesson Man. My name is Kizia Lathan. The girl Metihara and you are tuning to the best show right here on channel 263. It is Thursday, which means it is Friday Eve, and we have a lowdown for you guys at home. Thank you so much for allowing us to come into your home, come into your space and level lockdown for the next hour. So we are speaking about race relations today on the topic. So engage with us on social media. Let us know what you're thinking about the topic. We're going to the streets, finding out what the community and the people has to say. And we want to hear from you as well. I'm not alone. I'm with the princess of representing as well as Mihlali, the miss of study and work.
Alright. So when our colleagues they've been presented, you can't just be Umihlali nje. You have to make sure about Umihlali with all of your accolades. But it's hashtag Talk Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. And you already know what time it is. It means we're going to be dissecting and of course engaging in much needed conversations within our society and within communities. So you do know, Ukisa did mention that namhlanje our topic is race relations. So namhlanje what we want to do is make sure we talk about how race is maybe perhaps there's still racism that's going on within our communities. We've seen it, a couple of times. So we want to make sure we sit down and we speak about it, because it's not much often where you get platforms where people actually sit down and they speak about race, because it's a very sensitive issue for a lot of people, given the history of South Africa and with our constitution being acclaimed, being a document or rather, a Bible that makes sure it protects our citizens. I think the reality on the ground is very different, and to help us dissect this conversation, we are joined by the chairperson and deputy chairperson of the EFF Student Command at UWC, Uado and Ulwandile, and of course, a representative that is representing DA Youth, Michael.
Guys, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us. Guys, we don't want the conversation to stay right here, but we also want it to happen on our social media platforms, so make sure that you guys are interacting with us on our Facebook page. It is EKSE_live. Now, the first question, which I think is a very important question, 28 years into our democracy, do you think our race relations are as better than what they were in 1994?
Okay, I think I'm the first to answer this. So I think we have to identify that there's many things that have not been done since 94. So, of course, when we live in a situation where we have a black poverty that is 69%, colored poverty that's 40%, and white poverty that's 1%.
Yeah.
How do we together as a society say these are priorities that we must fix? And I think that we haven't done that. And that is one of the main issues that we have, is service delivery, basic services. As you said, the Constitution, we have a basic right to housing. But that's a piece of paper. How is that realized in our society? So when it comes to race relations, I think that when it comes to the economy, I don't think the systematic oppression of people of color in apartheid and the beginning of our society, I don't think that has changed enough. So I think we have stopped a lot of the barriers from 94, basic barriers, but we have a right, but we don't have the realization of that right.
Right.
And coming to you, Ado, for people that are born, I'm 2K, so they call us, people that are born post-apartheid, do you think that we still see color and we still see race as we navigate our lives?
If I'm to be honest, I would say that growing up in this generation has been far much more easier, in the sense that we've been made aware from things in terms of media or other platforms. So I would say, as much as we are not oblivious to everything that's going on around us, we are more open-minded when it comes to the transition and the acceptance of what has happened but it's a matter of the people that have been there before and how they are helping us in this transition, or in terms of how they are going to assist us moving forward. Are
Yeah.
they willing as well
Yeah.
to acknowledge what has happened and take steps rather than just acknowledging and moving forward?
Yeah.
We would rather take the steps that are needed, which is empowering us, as they say, the generation that is now moving forward with this.
Yeah.
Are they willing to also allow us the platform
Yeah.
to learn from what they've done and move forward with it?
Now, I want to find out, is there a role that us as young people are playing towards the divide? So, I mean, we always talk about, okay, how can we make sure that we are bettering ourselves? How can we make sure that this disappears, etc.? But is there a role that we are playing as young people, as people in general, that make sure that the divide widens?
Oh, thank you very much. As young people, I wouldn't solely individualize this thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing that we inherited during apartheid. It's been happening right now, and we see it. And I think one of the most important things that we have to look at is social class. Social class is the main proponent that instigates all this thing. It's okay. There will be people who are divided because of this and that and that. Like the speaker said, like there's a high difference of poverty rates between these three races and all. So it's kinda very important for us to make sure that as we are living in this generation and time, we need to be vocal.
Yeah.
We need to identify the most important things. To know this thing is wrong, and this is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And this thing of when you are talking about these things and then you're being cancelled and you are called out, say it's us because of this. No.
Yeah.
Like for instance, looking at our current government, they all claim, they say come from townships, all those kind of things. But like if you can really ask them right now, when was the last time they went to this township they say they came from and see the standards of lives of people that are living there?
Yo.
How can you decide what I must do, whereas you don't know what
What's
do I
happening,
feel, what's
yeah.
happening, where you're coming from,
Yeah.
you see. So they always use this helicopter approach, and that's what we call it, helicopter approach. They only arrive during elections, they only arrive when there are manifestos, rallies, and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
As the EFFSC and as a student, we want to conscientize this thing. We must internalize the struggle that we have. It's not going anywhere if
Yeah.
we're not doing anything.
Yeah, and I think what I'm getting from this is that a lot of work still has to be done. You know, even 28 years into democracy, there's still a lot of issues that are happening on the ground that, you know, we have to make sure that we are facing head on.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still talking about a very important subject, that is race relations. In the studio, we have Luandile, Ado, as well as Michael in the building, helping us unpack this very, very deep, not just deep conversation, but heavy conversation too.
Heavy conversation.
Why you do that? Regarding the history of this country. Now, guys, welcome back to the show. Now, our first question for you is...
I actually want to ask Ado and Luandile a question. You guys are part of EFF in the tertiary institutions. Would you say that race relations, well, race in a whole still exists, or is prevalent and predominant in tertiary organizations?
Oh, thank you. I think I'll split this question
Yeah.
for my guy on my left side. I'd say racism is still there in the institutions of higher learning, and specifically here in the Western Cape. We can see that all the universities are owned or controlled or funded by most white people. So obviously the system that you are in will affect us racially. If I'll highlight something regarding the funding, the funding, we have NSFAS and all those kind of things. If you can really zoom in that thing, that's like most black people or black young children are funded by NSFAS, and most of the time NSFAS has these times of paying like late and having problem clearing students, all those kind of things. So basically you need to have money,
Yeah.
you have a certain privilege so that your things will be solved very well
Yeah.
in this
So the
institution.
racism or the systematic racism is coming into play when it comes to people being able to afford fees, not just
Yes.
being able to afford fees,
Yes.
but also these places where they're supposed to give us money for fees are taking their own time, not being professional, not being on time, etc.
Yes, basically.
Would you like to add on to that at all?
Yeah. I think basically we need to analyze the situation from the get-go, which obviously most of the times it leads from background as well as intermediate learning from high school. You know that some people are more advantaged going for attendance because subsequently, if you're coming from a proper educational background, chances are you're gonna be doing well academically, which will increase your chances of getting those bursaries, those upper level bursaries, which do help you in terms of sorting out funds, perhaps, like he said. At the start of the year, it's very easy for someone who is marginalized and underprivileged to fail to even attend the academic year just because, not because they were not academically equipped,
Yeah.
not because they couldn't qualify to enter university, but because of other constraints that have been more like disguised in the sense that, okay, we have this funding called NSFAS.
Yeah.
As much as we have it, do you have access to it when you need it? Those are the type of things that most people have to go through. The marginalized, even other samples such as the 60-kilometer radius.
Yeah.
There are many people who are within that 60-kilometer radius amongst areas of universities, but they cannot access residencies. As much as they are within those kilometers, you find that these are the people that are staying in shacks.
Yeah.
These are the people whose parents are under the 350,000 threshold, but just because it's within those radiuses of the 60-kilometer radius, now they cannot afford
Yeah.
to stay in a conducive learning environment where
Right.
they can further equip themselves, perhaps earn those bursaries that they couldn't earn before.
Wow.
Yes. And just on what you're saying in terms of the radius and the bursaries and the institutions, why do you guys feel that racism is alive currently in Cape Town?
Michael, this one's for you.
Well, I'll obviously go back to the economic argument that I brought up earlier. So I think we have to really understand what apartheid was, which was basically a project to economically starve people of color.
Absolutely.
So we have to understand that that is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with spatial apartheid. We're dealing with so many issues. And I think what the ANC has not done is fix the institutions that are supposed to fix that. And we are supposed to have a situation where PRASA, Metro Rail, is supposed to bring people who are on either part of the city to the city center.
Right.
We need to have, obviously, housing that supports that, and we need to have, a security of your house, your life, everything, which we don't have. And if we go to a lot of townships, when you call the police station, no one comes.
Yeah.
And these are real life issues people are dealing with on a daily basis. And it's something that I think in our society in Cape Town, a lot of people don't see because they live on a certain side of the mountain.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And just speaking of living on the certain side of the mountain, I mean, we have people who are in power, or people rather who are in limelights or big stages who are saying reckless things, for example, like Kanye West. Do you feel like terms that are being said by Kanye West are affecting or taking us back when it comes to race? Especially saying things like slavery was a choice, or like if you could, you would have done better, etc. Do you think those things affect our position in race right now? And you have 30 seconds to answer this. I'm so sorry, time. Time is flying.
No, I'm not updated as much about this Kanye West issue, officially known as Ye,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yes.
So yeah, basically, I'm gonna touch on this thing. We as the FF Student Command, we come from a constitution that says as we believe in Africanism, we believe in uniting black people, we believe everyone deserves a fair chance in everything.
Absolutely.
So whatever this man is saying, I don't totally agree. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I totally reject it. So I won't dwell much because I haven't looked much
Looked
into
into
this
it.
guy because he tends to like dilute us with like ridiculous comments.
Yeah.
Like obviously. So yeah, it's something like that.
That's true. It took me so much that we could still speak on that topic. And I know Michael, it's very, very heavy-hearted on him, but we'll come back to you.